This is the Bestway 16ft x 10ft x 42-in oval power steel above ground swimming pool set. Just looking at it, you can already tell it's pretty massive, but what drew me to this particular pool is the oval shape and the sturdy build, which seemed promising for my backyard and for family use. If you're like me and curious how well something like this would work for a regular household, let me give you a quick review based on my own setup and experience. Right off the bat, the shape of this pool stands out. Instead of the usual round or rectangular pools, this is oval, which I think is perfect for fitting into tighter backyard spaces while still giving you more room than you might expect. Those 16 feet in length and 10 feet in width mean you can fit the whole family in at once without it taking up your entire backyard. At 42 inches deep, it's just over a meter, making it deep enough for relaxing and for the kids to splash around. But if you're hoping to do serious lap swimming, you might find it a bit shallow. Setting this up was honestly more work than I expected when I looked at the about 30 minutes estimate. I put down a lining on the ground to avoid punctures before even starting. Once I opened up all the boxes, there were a lot of pieces, definitely more than I thought, so be ready for some assembly. With just myself, it took around an hour and 20 minutes, and I had to do a fair amount of lifting and adjusting, especially when connecting the frame. In my opinion, if you have one or two helpers, it goes way smoother. Most of my challenges were just because I was alone and couldn't get someone to hold pieces in place. One thing that really stands out for me is the frame. The metal is corrosion resistant and feels sturdy. I like knowing I'm working with something built to handle sun, wind, and kids climbing all over. The pool liner's made of a material called Tritech, which is basically a strong layered plastic that resists punctures and regular wear and tear. What's cool about this set is that Bestway includes a realistic mosaic print on the inner liner, which gives the water a nice blue look and makes it feel more like a real pool. Now, about the filter system. This pool comes with a basic filter pump, but if you've got a big pool, or you really care about keeping the water as clean as possible, you might want to consider upgrading. I've used a sand filter, which I had to modify the pool slightly to fit, but it's been worth it because the standard filter just isn't strong enough for water this volume, in my experience. For anyone not familiar, a sand filter is a more powerful system where water passes through sand to trap dirt and debris, and it generally makes maintenance easier if you plan to use the pool a lot. I like that the set comes with a pool cover and a ladder. The cover helps keep leaves and bugs out when you're not swimming, and the ladder is definitely necessary, especially for kids or grandparents. At over 148 pounds, this is not a little inflatable pool you can just move around, so choosing the right spot in your yard from the start is important. I made sure to have a perfectly level area before even starting the setup, and I definitely recommend you do the same. If the ground isn't level, you'll have issues with water distribution, and the pool walls might bow over time, which can be a headache. About the pool walls, some users have reported bowing sides after a while. I did notice some sagging after a few weeks, especially in the hottest periods of summer. The frame design does help keep things upright, but if you plan on leaving it up all summer, it's not a bad idea to check it now and then and do some minor adjustments. For everyday backyard use though, it has held up just fine. One nice surprise was the anti-UV protection Bestway advertises. The pool has stood up well to the midday sun, and the liner hasn't faded or gotten brittle the way cheaper plastic pools can. That said, with any above-ground pool, you have to stay on top of regular maintenance. I learned firsthand that keeping the water balanced with chlorine is a must to avoid green water or algae buildup. The set comes with a basic floating dispenser for pool chemicals, but it's pretty small, so I added a skimmer and a robotic cleaner for the bottom, just for peace of mind. From my experience, a little bit of daily attention saves a lot of headache. I had a few worries starting out, mainly about long-term durability and whether the investment was worth it compared to just going to the community pool. After a summer of use, I can honestly say I've gotten more use out of it than I expected. My nephews and nieces absolutely love it, and it's rare to get a summer weekend when someone isn't in the pool. The only real regret I have is not getting help for assembly sooner or upgrading the filter pump right away. As someone who moves pools around each season, my only other tip is about disassembly. Once you take the pool out of the box, you're not getting it back in there. Make sure you have a clean, dry area to store it over winter and let it dry out thoroughly before packing it away to avoid mold or mildew. A few chairs underneath so the liner dries evenly goes a long way. If you're just getting into backyard pools or want something bigger for the family, I'd recommend this for anyone with enough flat space. It's perfect for barbecues, pool parties, or just cooling off on hot summer days. The actual water capacity is about 348 gallons, which means filling and balancing it the first time does take some patience, but once you've got the hang of it, upkeep isn't too bad. In my opinion, the sturdiness of the steel frame, easy setup, especially if you've got a helper, and the spacious size make it a great choice for families or anyone wanting something bigger than a blow-up pool. Some minor issues, like the need for a better filter and potential for side bowing, are worth knowing ahead of time, but in my experience, these are manageable with a little bit of planning. In conclusion, the Oval Power Steel above-ground swimming pool set is a sturdy, stylish, and family-friendly pool that's great for bringing backyard fun to the next level. It's easy to use, holds up well if you do basic upkeep, and turns your space into a summer hangout spot. If you're thinking about adding a pool and you want something reliable without a huge install project, I'd put this one high on the list. I will leave detailed information about the Oval Power Steel above-ground swimming pool set in the comments for your reference. Thank you for watching.